In the heart of the Cordillera Mountains, an elder named Mang Bato sits by the fire, his voice resonating with wisdom as he weaves tales of ancient spirits and heroic ancestors. As one of the last traditional storytellers in his village, Mang Bato carries the weight of his people's history, preserving the essence of Igorot culture through spoken word. His stories are not merely entertainment, they are lessons, guiding the younger generation and keeping their heritage alive. With each tale, Mang Bato ensures that the legacy of his ancestors endures, echoing through the mountains long after he is gone. Delve into the haunting tale of the Mirror of Apo Anjaney, a story rooted in the mystic highlands of the Cordillera Mountains in the Philippines. This narrative intertwines the rich tapestry of Filipino folklore with psychological horror, exploring the perilous journey of Elena Santos, a young artist ensnared by ambition and the enigmatic power of an ancient mirror. As Elena confronts her deepest desires and fears, she unravels the dark legacy of Apo Anjaney, a guardian spirit whose cursed artifact tests the very soul of those who dare to gaze upon it. Will Elena succumb to the mirror's malevolent influence, or will she break free from the cycle of doom?
Summon Mang Bato, Mirror of Apo Anjaney, Filipino Folklore Horror Story.
The heart of the Cordillera Mountains, where terraced rice fields stretched like golden stairways to the heavens, the legend of Apo Anjaney was more than just a tale. It was a warning. Elders spoke of the mirror in hushed tones, their voices trembling as they recounted stories passed down through generations. They described it as an ancient artifact, forged by spirits who sought to test humanity's resolve. Some claimed it had been created by Apo Anjaney himself, a guardian spirit of the mountains, to punish those consumed by greed or hubris. The mirror was said to reveal one's deepest desires and darkest fears, but its revelations came at a price. Those who gazed into its surface were forever changed, some driven mad, others cursed with unending misfortune, and a few vanishing entirely, leaving behind only whispers of their fate. Yet despite these warnings, many adventurers, dreamers, and desperate souls ventured into the caves seeking answers. Few returned, and none were ever the same. For Elena Santos, the legend was not just folklore, it was a lifeline. Elena grew up surrounded by beauty, the vibrant colours of Baguio City's flower markets, the rhythmic clanging of blacksmiths shaping metal, and the haunting melodies of traditional Kankanai chants echoing through the hills. But beneath this picturesque life lay a suffocating weight. Her family, proud descendants of farmers and artisans, valued stability above all else. To them, art was a hobby, not a career. From a young age, Elena showed promise as an artist. Her sketches captured the essence of her surroundings. Children playing in sun-dappled fields, elders weaving intricate patterns into blankets, the jagged peaks of Mount Pulag piercing the sky. But whenever she shared her work, her parents dismissed it. "Art won't put food on the table," her father would say sternly. "You need something practical." By the time she turned 25, Elena found herself trapped in a corporate job that drained her spirit. She spent her days drafting reports and her nights staring blankly at canvases she no longer touched. Her dreams felt like distant memories, fading with each passing year. It was during one such restless night that she remembered her Lola's stories about the Mirror of Apo Anjaney. "What if it's real?" she whispered to herself, clutching the worn notebook filled with her grandmother's handwritten tales. "What if it can show me what I'm meant to do?" Driven by desperation and curiosity, Elena made a decision that would change her life forever. The journey to the cave was grueling. Armed with little more than a backpack, a flashlight, and her grandmother's journal, Elena braved dense jungles teeming with wildlife, crossed rickety bamboo bridges swaying over roaring rivers, and scaled rocky cliffs slick with moss. Each step brought her closer to the heart of the Cordilleras and deeper into uncertainty. As she approached the cave's entrance, she noticed the carvings etched into the stone walls. They depicted swirling patterns resembling vines, interspersed with symbols she couldn't decipher. The air inside was damp and cold, carrying the faint scent of earth and minerals. Every sound echoed unnaturally, making her footsteps feel heavier with each stride. At last, she reached the cavern's centre. There stood the mirror, a towering slab of obsidian so smooth it seemed liquid. Its surface shimmered faintly, reflecting not her physical form, but a swirling void that pulsed with an otherworldly energy. Elena hesitated, her breath catching in her throat. Something about the mirror felt alive. "What do you seek?" a voice boomed, resonating through the chamber. Elena froze, her pulse racing. I want to know my truest desire," she stammered, her voice barely audible. The mirror rippled, and visions began to unfold before her eyes. First, the images were breathtaking. Elena saw herself painting murals that transformed entire cities, her work celebrated worldwide. People cheered her name, calling her a visionary. Her art brought joy, healing wounds and bridging divides. In these moments, she felt whole, free from the constraints that had bound her for so long. But then the scene shifted. The vibrant colors faded, replaced by shadows. Elena watched as her family turned away from her, their faces twisted with anger and disappointment. Her mother sobbed silently while her father shouted accusations. "You abandoned us for selfish dreams." Friends whispered cruel words behind her back, labeling her ungrateful and reckless. The loneliness that followed was suffocating, a heavy shroud that extinguished every spark of happiness. "No," Elena cried, stumbling backward. "Stop! I don't want to see any more." The voice returned, calm yet commanding. "Desire comes at a cost. Will you accept what you have seen?" Her mind raced. Could she endure the sacrifices? Was her passion worth the pain? After a long pause, she nodded, tears streaming down her face. "Yes, I'll take the risk." The mirror glowed brightly, and the vision vanished. When the light dimmed, Elena felt different. A newfound confidence surged within her, accompanied by a clear sense of purpose. She left the cave determined to chase her dreams, convinced the mirror had shown her the truth. For the following months, Elena poured her soul into her art. Galleries took notice, and soon her work gained recognition across the country. Yet, as success grew, so did the distance between her and her loved ones. Arguments became frequent until one day her parents stopped speaking to her altogether. Friends drifted away, unable to relate to her new lifestyle. The loneliness she had glimpsed in the mirror became her reality. One evening, as Elena sat alone in her studio surrounded by accolades, she caught sight of her reflection in a glass window. Something about it struck her as odd. Leaning closer, she gasped. The reflection staring back wasn't hers. It was the face of Apo Anjaney, the spirit of the mirror. "You chose your path," the reflection said, its lips moving in sync with Elena's own. "But now you belong to me." Panic gripped her as she realized the horrifying truth. When she accepted the mirror's vision, she unknowingly surrendered her soul. The confident, driven person she had become wasn't her true self. It was Apo Anjaney wearing her skin, guiding her actions to fulfill its insatiable hunger for ambition and sacrifice. Deep within the cave, the mirror remained untouched, waiting patiently for its next visitor. For Apo Anjaney thrived not only on granting desires, but also on consuming the souls foolish enough to seek them. And Elena, once a dreamer yearning for guidance, had become both its victim and vessel, a living testament to the price of unchecked ambition. Outside, people marveled at her talent, unaware that the artist they admired was no longer human. Meanwhile, deep in the mountains, the legend of Apo Anjaney continued to spread, drawing new seekers toward the treacherous path that led to the mirror. For every dream fulfilled, there is always a shadow lurking close by.
Pate, this is not good. Watch the next story to keep the flame going.